I mean, I was told by my film professor, there are films and there are movies. And sometimes you've got to know what you're walking into.
Yeah. See, but I come from a time when movies were films.
Wow, I haven't heard from you guys since last year. You know, in my head, that joke ate up a lot more than it actually did in reality. But besides that, besides very bad dad jokes, yes, it's true, we're back in the 2025 campaign. Year 3 of the show feels very weird to say, but somehow I made it this far, and I also had a resolution for 2024, which was watching 365 movies in one single year. And did I do that? Surprisingly, yes, I did, with a little bit of trickery here and there. I had to watch some short films to ease it out, but still, I did go ahead and watch 365 movies in one single year, which was a huge, massive success. I've never done it before, ever. The year before that, for 2023, I did like 294-ish movies, and that's obviously a very big increase. So I'm definitely proud of myself for wasting time watching films instead of going outside and having fun and touching some grass. But, you know, still, regardless, it was still a great year. December was a great month for films. I watched a lot of the MCU, and I'm just going to try to run through everything in like 1 sentence or less. We have 45 films here to talk about, so I'm going to go through it as quick as I possibly can and not waste your time. So if you want to follow us on Letterboxd, you can. That's down below in the show notes. You can just have, I guess, like a hard copy of everything. But, you know, I'm just going to stop wasting time and just go on into it really fast. So as I said, 45 movies in one single month was very just crazy, but I did watch a lot of the MCU. Like on December 1st, I watched Iron Man 2008, classic, the start of an incredible franchise, which was very, very good. On December 2nd, I watched The Incredible Hulk, which was not that good. And then on December 3rd, I watched Iron Man 2, also not that good. And on December 4th, I watched Thor, and that, yeah, you get the trend, it wasn't that good. The 5th of December, though, I did watch The Polar Express, which is an absolute classic. We did a full review for The Polar Express, which was definitely a very fun episode, and I enjoyed that one a lot. Then after that, on the same day, the 5th, actually, I did watch Captain America, The First Avenger, which actually slapped a lot more than I remembered it. It was just a really incredible movie. I know that we have Winter Soldier and also Civil War, great films, but First Avenger, I gotta admit, it's very good. And then obviously the 6th, I watched The Avengers, that very first Avengers movie, 2012. It's a classic. That's one of the earliest memories I have from being in a theater as a kid, and it slaps just the same. Then also that same day on the 6th, I watched Iron Man 3. This is a Christmas classic. Every single year I watch it. It is an essential watch every single year for December, and that's all I really cared about. Iron Man 3 slaps incredible. Then on the 7th, I watched Thor: The Dark World, which is trash, and I didn't really want it to be. I wanted to be the one guy who thought Thor: The Dark World was actually really good, but unfortunately, it was not. So Thor: Dark World got 2 stars, so I had to kind of have a little bit of a bounce back thing. So I did go watch Interstellar in theaters and IMAX. And Interstellar, I must say, I saw Interstellar before, but seeing it in IMAX was something just completely different. It was incredible. If you missed out for Interstellar in IMAX, I am just so sorry, because you missed out on a life-changing experience, because that movie, in the way it's supposed to be seen, is just completely different. Then that next day on the 9th, I did watch Look Back. This is a film that came out in 2024, a really just short little anime movie, 15 minutes long, which is very good, very well crafted. Definitely amongst some of my favorites of the month, and definitely some of the most, I guess, underrated for the year of 2024. It was just an incredible movie. I definitely recommend it. Look Back, when I watched it, it was on Prime. It may still be on there as of this recording, I'm not too sure, but definitely go watch it. Look Back, definitely recommend it. And then flying into the 11th, I did watch Charlie Brown Christmas. We did do a full, 40-minute episode on that too, so don't need to really talk about that at all. Then I watched Captain America, The Winter Soldier, which was a very easy 4.5 out of 5. This one just slaps. It's incredible. Winter Soldier, even if it's not an MCU movie, is just an incredible film. From start to finish, I just can't get enough of it. It's a banger, banger, banger movie. Then on 13th, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, another 9 out of 10. This one really does slap, also makes me cry every time I watch it. It just means so much to me. All the Guardians films mean a whole lot to me. Then on the 15th, I did watch Age of Ultron, Avengers. That one is still one of my personal favorites, but I have to admit, that it is just a little bit messy, has a lot going on, doesn't do anything exactly cohesive. It has a lot to be done to it that definitely could make it a lot better, but unfortunately, it's not the best, but still, it hits for me sometimes. Then on that same day, the 15th, getting into the Christmas spirit, I did watch A Nonsense Christmas with Sabrina Carpenter. Very short little Christmas special. It slapped. It was very good, a very fun special. Also might be a very new classic for everyone. Sabrina Carpenter definitely cooked here. I'm hoping that she does more of these little holiday things for every single holiday on Earth. That'll be really fun. And then that same day was Ant-Man from 2015. I have been and always will be an Ant-Man defender. Ant-Man is a banger movie. It's not the best at all. I gave it 3.5 out of 5, but still, it means the world to me. And then the 16th, in preparation for the new Nosferatu movie, I did watch the 1922 Nosferatu movie, which was definitely very good. I did watch it in color, which I didn't really want to, but still, in color, this one was still a classic. This is definitely one of the most quintessential horror movies in American and really just the world's history of films. It is definitely a banger, a classic for a reason. Would recommend it, obviously. Isn't my personal favorite, but still, it's an OG. Gotta show respect to it. Then, 17th, I rewatched Charlie Brown Christmas. Wanted to just get some more notes in for this one. Like I said, a full 40-minute episode is already down out there, so you can go listen to that. It was definitely a very good one. I think I did a pretty good job with it, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Then, 19th, I watched Over the Hedge for the very last time. A little bit emotional, but I'm going to watch it again tonight, so it doesn't really matter. Over the Hedge still slaps. It's still one of my favorites of all time. I'll talk about it pretty soon here, I promise you. And then also that same day, the 19th, I did watch the Superman Christopher Reeves documentary. That was the same day as the trailer, which was just, I'm going to talk about that soon for my 2025, my most anticipated films for the year. I'll talk about Superman and that. But, this is really an incredible documentary. I recommend you watch it. Really just all around, it's one of the best of the entire year for 2024. And it's really one of my favorite documentaries of all time. Definitely, no question. It means so much to me. Then on the 20th, I did watch Captain America Civil War. This one, when it was first coming out, for me in middle school, being alive and being here to see the promotional campaign for this movie, you don't know just how much this film really hit for me and hit for the entire world. It was crazy. It was incredible. Also, coming out the exact same year as Batman vs. Superman, this one slapped also. Very, very good. And then that next day, a couple days later, I watched Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has never been one of my personal favorites, but I was happy to give it a chance, and I did. And Doctor Strange, still not a fan of it, but I still do enjoy it a little bit. Then the next day I did watch Elf, which is a classic for obvious reasons, so no real introduction needed for that one. But the one I do want to talk about is actually Four Christmases. Four Christmases is one of those really cliche rom-com movies, but in Christmas, but actually very good and very funny. It's a great one. I recommend it. Four Christmases is a new classic for me that I love a lot. Then also on Christmas Eve, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This one still slaps. I don't know why people hate this movie. It's actually very, very good. Then on Christmas Day, I did watch a lot of movies for this one. I watched Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas and Twice Upon a Christmas. Both of them are cool. The first one's better, but the second one still does what it needs to do and does it just a little bit worse, I guess. Then the other three I watched on Christmas Day was Die Hard. Saw for the first time. Die Hard obviously slaps. I'm not sure how I went this long without seeing this much of a great movie. Then I also watched Into the Spider-Verse and also Homecoming for Spider-Man for MCU. So starting off here, Into the Spider-Verse is a masterpiece. Perfect. It definitely does do a very good job at doing everything. You already know that. And then for Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, Tom Holland's first outing as Spider-Man in his own movie. I do love this movie, but it still has problems for me. I'm still not a fan of how the MCU is handling Spider-Man at the moment. It just was a very tragic misstep that I don't even want to rant about anymore because it's really just stress-inducing to even talk about. This very mistreating of the character, but not the end of the world. Homecoming means so much to me. Growing up in middle school, that's when the film first came out, and it did kind of help me out when I was going through middle school and high school. It helped out a lot for me, so Homecoming means a bit to me, so I do enjoy it. And then the next time I've been watching more movies, I've been going through a lot of the old Disney catalog. So I watched 101 Dalmatians, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, all of them are super cool. I love just kind of gathering some inspiration from these because I've been starting to shoot more film. So I like to gather more art and just kind of try to influence it into my own work. And 101 Dalmatians is very cool. Definitely think the best out of all these. Peter Pan has some issues politically and, some bad stuff in there that they've definitely learned from, but still has a little bit of a dark past, which isn't that good at all. But Alice in Wonderland is extremely whack, so I don't like that one either. But the best one, 101 Dalmatians, that one's like, I think all time for me, like top, maybe like 10 Disney ever. Maybe. I'm maybe pushing that, but still very good. You get the point. Then the 27th, I did watch Nosferatu from Robert Eggers. I'm going to talk about this one as I go into my ranking for the year. Then this one might also be mentioned for the Oscars. So the movie's great. It's definitely a different adaptation. If you go into this thinking that it's going to be a shot-for-shot remake, it's not that. You're going to be disappointed. Instead, think of it as a retelling of the story in a different way from a different person that they think is definitely going into more of the book's accuracy, which is definitely very good. Obviously, the acting all around is good, and cinematography, music, everything's great. But there is, I think, some things that I think are maybe not exactly all there that could have made it better. But for now, it was good. It was great. It was solid. Top 5 of the year, but I may have to watch it again to really gather all my thoughts. Then the film that everyone's been telling me to watch is Jury Number 2 from Clint Eastwood. This one was released this year, it was released in 2024, but it didn't have that big of a theatrical release at all. It seems like Warner Brothers was aiming for this film to fail. I'm not sure why, but Jury Number 2 is very good. I recommend it for anyone. The directing, the acting, the plot had me so incredibly hooked. Watch the movie. Then next up, I watched Thor Ragnarok, which still slaps. I remember seeing this one back in middle school. Also, like I said, middle school was a very weird time, but Ragnarok came out at this time as well. And middle school, Ragnarok leading up into Infinity War. Oh my gosh, this was so freaking good. Oh man, it slaps to this day. Ragnarok is top 5 MCU for sure. Then, that same day, Tropic Thunder, never saw it before. Never was allowed to with my parents, but finally got a chance to watch them. I'm actually an adult now. And Tropic Thunder hits. All the acting's great. It's all there. It's obviously a classic, so not much needs to be said about it. Then, 29th, that same day, I watched Black Panther. Black Panther hits very different. I'm definitely going to admit that it's definitely because of Chadwick Boseman's death, but Black Panther is just really, truly something incredibly special. I mean, just looking at all the films we had in the past, we've had Miles Morales being told in his own movie, but, I think that ever since Blade, there wasn't really anything like it until this movie, like really almost over a decade later. So I think that really Black Panther was just something so incredible, something so special. I can talk about it for hours, but I'm not going to. Black Panther slaps. It's one that I didn't really love before, but now I love it a whole lot. I really love it so much more. And then just quickly running through my last ones for the entire month, I watched Radiohead in Rainbows from the Basement. This is Radiohead performing their In the Rainbows album inside of a basement. And this album is just, it's there's nothing else to be said about it. This album slaps. It's actually perfect. Oh my gosh, whatever. Who cares? Watch it. It's only an hour long. The album is one of the best of all time. Radiohead is like one of the best things ever constructed by man ever. It's great. Then a film that I really wanted to love and I still don't love for some reason, I Saw the TV Glow from A24, is one that it seems like everyone is in love with except for me. I'm very mad at that. I'm just very pissed about that. I don't understand why I Saw the TV Glow is so loved, unfortunately. One day I will, but it wasn't today. Then after that, I watched Happy New Year, Charlie Brown. This one is like when Shaq was on the Celtics. So Shaq on the Celtics, washed mid, a bum. That was what this one was in comparison to the other ones that they've done before in the past. Then that same day, I watched 17 again, Zac Efron. This one is a classic. It's a banger for me. I remember vividly having 17 again, Zac Efron 2009 on DVD and watching it a lot growing up. And this one still hits. It's still a very cool message. Is it exactly good? No. It's not like this is like the next Akiru from Akira Kurosawa. This is just a random movie with Zac Efron, and it hits. It's actually very good. It's actually pretty funny. I enjoyed it a whole lot. Then my last two for the entire year, I watched All Too Well, the short film from Taylor Swift. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan myself. I don't know if I ever said it before, but I really am a huge Taylor Swift fan. This one is just, this short film, I can talk about for an episode if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to make any promises. I'm not going to. But All Too Well, the short film, is literally one of the best works of art I've watched the entire year. This one, it really is really good. This is my second time watching it. The first time I was like, oh, wow, it was cool. Second time I watched All Too Well, the short film, I really decided to actually watch it and really try to understand it. And it just has so many layers to it. It's incredible. But that's besides the point. The last film of the entire year, the 365th film of the year, was The Tragedy of Macbeth. And this one is one of the best shot films of the century. Denzel Washington is just a force that we've really, I guess, never seen on this level. He's this old, doing things just so effortlessly good. He was so good in Gladiator 2. Despite the film not being that good, he was great. In Tragedy of Macbeth, he was just even better. He might be, I guess, like the LeBron James of film, how he's so old, but he can just do things so consistently, so good. He can play on the level as everyone else, yet he's like at the tail end of his career, he can still play at that level, be that kind of guy. That's what Denzel is in this movie. I mean, Tragedy of Macbeth, I'm going to talk about that one a lot too. They're speaking in this movie like how they would in the book, so it's very like they're talking in Times New Roman. So it's kind of confusing to understand, but still, I recommend it. It was shot beautifully in black and white. But besides that, that's it. That's the entire year. 365 in 1 year. Huge goal accomplished somehow. So that was very fun. Once again, if you want to see what I watched for the entire year, it's on my letterbox down below. You can go check that out. It was a pretty solid year for films for me, I guess. I'm pretty happy about it. Later this week, I'm trying to do my ranking for 2024, and then also my most anticipated for 2025. And then I have some series that are in the works right now for some movies that are coming out this year. I'm going to do some series on those, like with the X-Men one. I'm going to be doing that, but with two different things. So I'm going to be announcing that pretty soon. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. But until then, wanted to come to you on a very quick Monday to say that I'm still alive. I'm not dead yet. I'm not retiring. We're in year 3. The show is staying. I'm not retiring just yet because I'm signed to a contract with myself. But until then, stay swagged out, stay cool, watch more films every single day. And until then, I'm your host, Logan. I'll see you boys in the movies.
Shine.